Before the racing this year, we took our usual stroll round Castletown Square, and Jeff was there admiring his new car, which the chauffeur had parked for him very conveniently. He didn't seem very certain where the engine was until we told him it was in the boot, but other than that he was quite satisfied. Decky, on the other hand, was sporting a new hat. The race format this year takes a different form. The Steam Packet races now include two TT races with the TT status. The 125, which was race 1, and the 250, which was race 2. And we were looking at some of the bikes as we wandered round the paddock before the event, and thoroughly enjoyed the freedom of movement that was afforded to us. Practicing took place late morning, early afternoon, and racing itself started around tea time. Practicing on this circuit is essential. It's a very tight circuit, very narrow in places, undulating. There's no mountain in the middle, unlike the main TT circuit, but nevertheless it's very demanding, and I certainly wouldn't like to go quickly around it. But these lads achieve speeds of over 100 miles an hour, and I take my hat off to them. This is Ian Lougher, who had a very successful meeting. I covered the filming of race 1 using the still camera from a position just beyond the start, and the bikes were already tramping at a fair old rate past me, even though they were only 200-300 yards from the start line. Such is the performance of even the small bikes in this picture, but it was enjoyable nevertheless, and there was some very close racing, being as it was a massed start in 2 waves, which is a system which is used in Irish road racing as well. The slower bikes, I say slower, the relatively slower bikes, are in the second wave. So we have two Manxmen on the podium. Number 5, Chris Palmer. Number 21, Dan Sale. Chris Palmer, who now lives on the island, was the winner. Daniel Sale, who was also operated as Dave Molyneux's sidecar passenger, was second. And Nigel Moore from the mainland was third. Now here's an opportunity to see race 2 in live action from the same location, starting with the title lap.
Behind them, so let's see the details of the grid then. The front row, number 8, Michael Dunlop, 9, Lougher, and 5, Chris Palmer. On row 2, number 33, Andy Neal, number 7, Ryan Farquhar, and number 11, Paul Owen. Row 3 is number 2, Davy Morgan, number 12, Barry Davidson, and 31, Carl Roberts. And row 4, number 22, Robert Knight, 20, Phil Harvey, and 16, John Burrows. Lougher got a very good start indeed, and the first wave are all away, the second wave is now as they speed past us by Sam Dunlop. Very good start there by Sam Dunlop, leading the second away. As number 18 gets away, that's Alistair Bailey from Skelmersdale, and that means that and the two marshals proceed through, and the official car follows them, and now, well, we can sit back and it's to be an absolutely enthralling race. 12 laps of the Bilal circuit, 51 miles, the last TT race of 2008. We still have the steam packet race to come for the 600 and the superbikes, so it's going to be still more dramatic racing to come, but this is the last of the TT designated races. Ian Lougher out there, the holder of the lap record for 250s on this course of 103.378 miles per hour, and we'll be handing over to Roy Moore very shortly, and then waiting of course for them to come round here at the end of the first lap. So 12 laps of racing, 51 miles altogether. Over to you, Roy.
Yes, and well, we can't hear them as yet, but certainly I would imagine they'll be well round Ballabeg. Those of you not familiar with the place or reference to Joey's Gate, well, that's just that.
And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bikes in view. It's 5. 3 go through, so Chris Palmer leading. Robert Knight behind Paul Owen. Chris Palmer leading, but only by 0.2 of a second over Ian Lougher. It's that tight at the end of lap 1. Chris Palmer leading by 0.2 of a second. Ian Lougher is 1 second ahead of Michael Dunlop. And news that number 12, Barry Davidson, has retired at Castletown corner. Number 12, Barry Davidson, has retired just before the end of the lap. So, machines coming off the bridge to complete the second lap, and over the rise they come. And it's Lougher who leads, 7, 8, 5. Lougher who leads from Farquhar. that is it for the time being. They've opened up a real gap, and here comes the rest of the field now. And they come past us. 11 and 22. So Lougher with a lead of Ryan Farquhar. And there's less than a second between Ryan and Michael Dunlop in third place. So it's all very, very tight and really exciting as well, with Chris Palmer having dropped down to the leader then at the end of lap 2 with Ryan in second place. Number 33 Andrew Neil, 6 number 2 David number 11 Paul Owen, 10th number 22 Robert Knight, 22, 30, 18 and 23 all come through. And I think that's the end of the second lap. So Ian Lougher then with that 9-second lead at the 0.9 of a second, the lead over Ryan Farquhar. Let's get that right as we go back to Roy Moore. Yes, and there's plenty of... And Ian Lougher, the man who's leading the way, and up in front of me on what is still a glorious sunny evening, with just a bit of breeze, with the flags flying behind the stand here, and here they come, and it's Farquhar. 8-9 they go through. It's Ryan Farquhar who's taken the lead. Farquhar, Dunlop and Lougher. David Morgan, who's now become somewhat detached from the leading group. So Ryan Farquhar with a lead over Michael Dunlop, and Michael Dunlop with 0.4 of a second dividing him from Ian Lougher. That is how close it is. That's Paul Owen. There we go, 20 and we have a stage of lead every time so far, with Chris Palmer leading at the end of lap 1. At the end of lap 2 it was Ian Lougher, and now at the end of lap 3 it's Ryan Farquhar who has gone into the lead. Side by side, really spectacular stuff by Chris Barrett. So Farquhar, Dunlop and Lougher with Chris Palmer in 4th place. Chris and Andrew Neil is 5 seconds down on Chris Palmer. So will Farquhar still be leading when they reach Roy Moore? Back across 4 ways.
Be able to tell you very, very shortly. That must be scary as 3 of them line in a line across the track or behind one another as they come out of the Belanger. Down to the 30-mile-an-hour sign, down through the box to make So it's 8, 9 and 7 in that order, and keeping a respectable distance now is Chris Palmer, and he'll certainly be looking at that battle. And there's 33, Andrew Neil, he's through as well now, holding on to that 5th place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place for him, Andrew Neil. And number 2 is here with us now, Davy Morgan. He stopped on the Suzuki at Ramsey Hairpin in the Manx Grand Prix last year in the classic race. But certainly out on the 250 Honda now, holding on to that 6th position as they went through. But a tremendous battle at the front between Lougher, Dunlop, who led through to the cross 4 ways here. 20 and 16 are with us now. 20 and 16, Phil Harvey, the first of them. Over to you, Morris.
Charlie, yeah, almost. I'm trying my best to do a good impersonation of Morris, but here come the leaders now, and it's not Ryan anymore. It is Michael Dunlop right behind him, and Ryan in 3rd place. So Michael Dunlop has been four different leaders, with Michael Dunlop in front this time. Away towards the right-hander at Ballachagan. So what actually is 0.1 of a second between Dunlop and Lougher. It is that close. There goes Davy Morgan going through. So Lougher in 2nd place, and he has advantage on Ryan Farquhar, who looked very determined, coming through in 3rd. Paul Owen, number 11, had to retire in the last race, and more riders coming to view now. Right behind him, John Burrows and Robert So Dunlop, Lougher and Farquhar, that's the order right now, with Chris Palmer 6 seconds behind in 4th place, and Andrew Neil 5 seconds down on Chris Palmer. As number 34 goes through, that's Sam Dunlop, Michael's cousin. Number 10 is Paul. So Dunlop, Lougher, Farquhar, that was the way. Yes, and there's no sentiment in a TT win, and certainly the three at the front there are dicing really tremendous. It was who's it going to be this time? As we just make our way just to catch the edge of the building which forms Cross Four Ways, we can hear coming towards us. And it's Lougher who leads now. Michael Dunlop down to second. Ryan Farquhar still third. So Ian Lougher takes it, and they go and they're slipstreaming one another as they take it up over the crest into Church Bends, and there's Chris Palmer just running a little bit wider than he normally does. Having a quick look back to 233 Andrew Neil. Tremendous race there for Palmer. He appears to have some trouble, but there's number 2 Davy Morgan goes through. That bump that catches the back wheel out just as they anchor it up into Cross Four Ways here, certainly getting Davy Morgan caught out there, but such is the pace of them. There's no other riders in view except number 11 Paul Owen. Over to you, Charlie. 101.38 miles an hour in Lougher, 101.5. Here they come, it's Lougher. Farquhar and Dunlop in that order. It's Lougher from Farquhar and Dunlop, and those behind the 4th place man, which will be Chris Palmer coming into view now, but very little to choose between the top three. So Ian Lougher now is back in front for the 6th round of the race, as Andrew last in the second. Ian Lougher 0.4 of a second ahead of Ryan Farquhar, who is second here on corrected time, with Michael Dunlop 0.7 of a second, 0.3 seconds by Ryan Farquhar. It's fast and it's furious, and sometimes it's difficult to make all the syllables in the right order. But the thing that matters most of all is that with 5 laps completed, it is Ian Lougher 0.4 seconds ahead of Ryan, 0.3 seconds ahead of Michael Dunlop, 12-second lead over Chris Palmer, Andrew Neil, 6 Davy Morgan, 7 Paul Owen, and back to you, Roy.
Yes, such is the pace of this race. I'm sure they're going to get caught up with the back markers as they approach Cross Four Ways here on lap number 6, 27 and 30, and 23 in particular. They've just gone through, and certainly they will be caught up, I would think, by the 3 leaders as they hammer down the race distance halfway. Well, they're on lap 6 when they go through the checkers finish there on the bypass. They will be starting 7th, and up to second from number 8 Michael Dunlop. So 9, 7 and 8 as close as that as they went through, and again they tail one another into Church Bend. So Chris Palmer, well, but he's got 33 Andrew Neil not right behind him, but certainly he appeared to be a lot closer than he was on that first lap. But certainly a new leader down through here was number 9 Ian Lougher, who was ahead, but only just from 7 Ryan Farquhar, within 3rd Michael Dunlop, number 2. And I think that would indicate that the way things are going now, it would indicate that it's possibly with a race like this. A fascinating scrap. It's Ryan Lougher, and they've just opened up a very small gap over Michael Dunlop. So Ryan Farquhar completed. That's the halfway point in the race. Ryan Farquhar in the lead, but split seconds between them as well. Palmer goes through number 5. Chris with 1 win already this season on his belt. Then goes out to Ryan Farquhar with the lead of 0.1. And Ian is 0.7 seconds ahead of Michael Dunlop. So less than a second dividing the top 3 in the race. Chris Palmer a little bit further back at 15 seconds down, and Andrew Neil a further 4 seconds down.
Davey Morgan's gone through. He is 17 seconds behind Andy Neal. So the top three giving us a piece of entertainment. The lead swapping hands every single time they come through. Yesterday on the mountain course with that amazing TT, but these guys really serving up an absolute feast of Lougher and Dunlop back to right. Yes, the last of the machines going through. Some nice little battles going on between all the other runners further down the field as well. But that battle at the front, how is it going to be resolved as they approach us here at Cross Four Ways on lap number 7? This is not the leaders. This is number 28 and followed by number 18. So they could play a difference there. 18. Again checking out to see what it is, 27, and here they are, and it's Lougher who leads again from Farquhar and Michael Dunlop. Together, and let's see how they deal with it. Ian Lougher is through the last of the back markers, and he just makes it before Church Bends, and he might just be able to eke out a bit of a lead there, Ian Lougher, but certainly it was him who led. There's number 5, Chris Palmer through, and noticeably closer to him now is number 33, Andrew Neal. Just a little bit further down the road, so somebody must have been very, very close to that as they went through, and the fella who owns it will probably be shaking his head. There's number 2, Davey Morgan. Over to you, Charlie. Yes, so we wait for them to come through at the end of that lap, and will it still be Ian Lougher then? Does the lead change hands again as the back markers do come through, and it is Ian Lougher. The man who is there, and can he nail it on this time? Number 23 is indicating he's going to retire when he gets back to the paddock. That's a newcomer, Jeff Warr. Andy Neal goes through, Chris Palmer went through. Retirement, number 22, Robert Knight. Perfectly okay. 22, Robert Knight stopped at Iron Gate, perfectly okay. So Ian Lougher with that lead now of just over 1 second on Ryan Farquhar. It's been so tight up to now that a lead of 1 second looks positively luxurious, but I don't think that will last because this is not the way this TT has gone. So 0.2 of a second behind Ryan Farquhar, right in his slipstream when they came past him. Palmer in 4th place, 19 seconds down on Michael, and in 5th place, number 33. In 6th place, number 2, Davey Morgan, and he is 22 on Andy Neal. Back to you, Roy. Yes, and as Michael had said quite correctly at the start of the would be different. There's Dean Martin, number 4, so that indicates that they can't be too far away from a clear. They start lap number 8, or on lap number 8, and certainly no machines in the view as yet, but there's one by himself, and it's Ian Lougher, and he's pulled out quite a considerable margin, but Michael Dunlop up to 2nd with Ryan Farquhar 3rd, and certainly that might have been the case with those back markers, but Michael Dunlop has got past Ryan Farquhar there, is in the pursuit of the race leader Ian Lougher. 28 and 18 are through there as well. 28 with just come close. 27 and 30, so they've overtaken. Oh, there is Chris Palmer, number 5, and then number 33, Andrew Neal. But certainly the race leader here with the biggest advantage, I would think, that they've had so far in the 8 laps that they're, or the 8th lap that they're on, was certainly Ian Lougher. Well, Ian Lougher ahead there of Michael Dunlop, and then Ryan Farquhar 3rd and 4th. It was number 5. Well, here comes Ian Lougher now. He comes over the rise and comes now. Well, that gives you an idea that 1.7 seconds. So Ian leading from Michael Dunlop, 1.7 with Ryan Farquhar in 3rd place. So Michael Dunlop now into 2nd position. As number 28 goes through. On the previous lap, Christopher Dean. And more riders coming number 9, Ian Lougher on lap you the details of that in just a second. 102.260 by Ian Lougher, a new lap record, beating Dennis McCulloch's figure from 1999. Well, that just gives you some indication that the pace is being fought out at. Ian having to reel off lap record times to shake off Michael. Decisive move. That remains to be seen as they head off towards the far side of the course. So Lougher in second place, Farquhar third, Palmer fourth. Back to you, Roy.
Yes, and it's interesting that because one of the young, really, in fact, production of 250 Hondas hasn't been undertaken for quite a while, so they've got to keep them going, no matter whether they're inline cylinders, reverse cylinders, or whatever cylinders they've got. Certainly getting spare parts to keep them running with many drivers.
Michael Dunlop, news of number 8, Michael Dunlop has stopped at Ballard Bay. Michael Dunlop has stopped at Ballard Bay.
And that means that second man now, Ryan Farquhar, well, Ian Lougher had that, but it's not all that big a distance, really. Ryan Farquhar now would probably have saw Michael Dunlop go out and realised it's between himself and Ian Lougher for this win, and certainly disappointment there for Michael Dunlop. Well, how true that thing that he said on the start line, that he felt as though 12 laps was too much. Here's Chris Palmer now, so he's moved up to third place, and he'll probably be indicated that Andrew Neil, so he's lost a bit of time there. He had to go down the middle of the road to get round, absolutely no problem, but not on the correct racing line, but he's just over the rest of those bikes to go through is number 30, but with the news of Lougher leads from Farquhar, over to you, Charlie.
Yeah, so dramatic twist then, and that's sad news, of course, for Michael after that terrific run in the 250 at the Northwest 200. Here's Lougher, and now through, and they're completely bunched up with and it's 1.6 was the split now. So very little change in it. And confirmation now that Michael Dunlop has retired from the race. Michael Dunlop, number 8, has retired from the race. So that will promote Chris Palmer up into third place, we suspect. And here he goes. And indeed he does. So 9 laps complete. And then goes fourth place. So Ian Lougher, 1.6 seconds with 9 laps of the race. Now with a second lead over the man in third place. Number 33. And he is 5 seconds down on Chris Palmer. So possibly that third place on the podium is also up for grabs. With plenty of racing yet to come as Davey Morgan goes through. He of course moves up into 5th place. It's all about those experienced QT and Belaun campaigners Ian Lougher and Ryan Farquhar. Back to Roy.
Number 10 is here now, and 34, there's Sam Dunlop, so he's probably saw Michael parked up there at Ballabeg, the right-hander, which takes you, just a trip that takes you down here to cross 4 ways, 25 down through the box here now as well, and that sounds as though he's lost one of the expansion chambers on it, which was a common occurrence. The silencers, but Ian Lougher is pulling out a bit of a lead now over Ryan Farquhar. And those new letters of Ian Lucky Lougher, as he used to be called in the past, well, this could be a lucky 250 win for him. Not a lucky win, a tremendous win, because he from the start. It's just that good battle that was going on, 26 and 35. The 35, the last of those to go through. And as Derek Kelly, well, that machine, I'm very lively informed, is something like 20 years old, would you believe? And that's what we were saying before or better. But Ian Lougher pulling out a good lead. Here's the third place man now, number 5, Chris Palmer. He's through, and Andrew Neil, number 33. Well, it's about the same distance as it was before, so he's going to take a bit of doing of Andrew Neil. Over to you, Charlie.
So we wait for them to come through on this lap as the race begins to reach the business end. Here's Lougher. So Ian looking more and quicker on that lap as well. 102.321 miles an hour. 102.321 miles an hour by Ian. And he's cranking up the pace, and it looks like he's managed to take off. Confirmation, another new lap record by the timekeepers. to come. But with 2 laps of the race to go, Ian Lougher leads by 3.8 seconds from number 7, Ryan Farquhar. In third place is number 5, Chris Palmer, who is 31 seconds down on Ryan. In fourth place is 33, Andrew Neil, who is 2 seconds behind Chris. And those are the only 4 now. We're on so we've got to hand back to you. The one who's trying to dictate where they go, but we're looking down to see whether Ian Lougher now, as that Ryan Farquhar pulled back his lead. This isn't him. This is number 10 coming into view now, and that's right behind him on Terry Gilmore's 250c machine. You won't mistake that, but this is the race leader, Ian Lougher, and he is on the move, I can tell you. You can just tell it in the body language. 25 goes wide, allows Ryan Farquhar to tuck up the inside, but not for long as they head away, but certainly Ryan pulls out to pass him. The rider there, number 25, again, the standard of riding on the circuit, on the TT course, and here Chris Barrett just stuck his leg out and said to Ryan, go past me on the right hand before Church Bends. There's 32 here now. Certainly 32 is Neil Chadwick, and there's 28, 26 going through. 35, there's Chris Palmer, but right behind him is 33, Andrew Neil, and it looks as though he could get him. Dean Martin keeping a distance behind, and certainly that's going to be a tremendous battle. Back to you, Charlie. Yeah, because the leader is on the bridge, and Ian Lougher is looking very, very smooth indeed, and here he comes now, number 9. The final lap of the race is underway. Chris Barrett is on the previous lap, so that's 12 of 12 for 51 miles. And at the moment it is a 6.6 second lead that Ian has on Ryan. So it looks as if Ian has done the business, but of course remember in the last race it all went wrong at the death with that snap chain. So Ian is certainly experienced enough. Palmer and Andrew Neil is right behind him. That battle is not over yet. Chris Palmer, the winner of the first race this evening, but he's got it all to do to fend off Andy Neil, who is closing all the time. There is just 1/10 of a second between the two of them as they came past us here. So those top 4, the only 4 on the lap to pass us so far, and it's time for us to head back for the last time in this race to cross Fourways and Roy. The brakes are still good on 250, just John Burrows came in there, had the back end standing up, not as much as Michael Dunlop. Certainly, we're looking down there to keep him in the first, well, not the change, nothing in the first. Really delighted for it, and the Ian Lougher. That machine looking good. There's Sam Dunlop again, hasn't dropped too much. It's Ryan Farquhar now, gets the applause of the crowd as he goes through, but it's the distance from Cross Fourways to Church Bends that Ian Lougher leads on this lap 12 of the 250cc steam packet lightweight TT on tremendous conditions down here. You have to shoot your ears to that one. I think it's the left-hand pipe that's gone, so it's running straight on the expansion box. But we might just have time. We don't want to miss the leader going through to win this particular one. But certainly that's Andrew Neil, and there's Chris Palmer. Andrew Neil, Chris Palmer's got the goal message. Because Andrew Neil is not that close behind him as he was on the previous lap. Over to you, Charlie. Yes, because our race leader Ian Lougher is on the bridge and into that very slow right-hander at Castletown corner, and he comes up towards the checkered flag now, and he wins the race. And Ian Lougher, a winner 7 times of TTs on the mountain, is a winner here at Castletown as well. There goes Ryan Farquhar just easing up in the saddle as he goes through to take second place. 8.6 seconds the winning margin at the end of the race, and a comprehensive performance by Ian Lougher in the second part of the race. But goodness me, he had to fight during the first part, and he had to break the in order to make sure of that victory. So Ian Lougher, who 3 times on the mountain course has won the ultra lightweight title, has now taken the lightweight title here for TT.
Where you been?
But what's going to happen?
You can't turn up now.
Chris Palmer just in third place, and he just opened up a little bit of a gap there on the final lap from Andrew Neil. So Lougher, Farquhar, Neil, that's the top 4.
Here we are, we're trying to hold you the bloody spot and there's somebody trying to get in and we're telling them no, it's somebody's
helmet off there, I think a bit more please, big handshake to Ryan Farquhar there. Chris Palmer just comes in, that's the first and the third. I think you're a bit happier now than what you were before the start of this race.
Race at least.
I was alright, miserable git, I tell you. Yeah, I wasn't pleased, you just see things happen, you know, where you just get down with these things sometimes, and it was something that you learn every day, isn't it? And that's it. So it was good. No, brilliant. That was a really hard race. And I'd just like to thank Ian Barnes and Matt and Robert and everybody for giving this 250. And it's been brilliant. Yeah. Cracking dice with you and Ryan, young Michael, for a few laps there. Unfortunately, Michael went out of Bellabeg as well. Right. Yeah. Well, he almost ran on there 1 lap before, and McCarthy just after that. And he just before that, I should say. So yeah, it was great. Michael was riding really well. He was really fast through Church Bend there, and the 1 lap when I was following him, I got cheapers, but then he wasn't so quick in other places, you know, so I had to make up some ground, but brilliant, yeah. Matt Jackson's been for a long time. They tell you a new lap record for the Steam Packet race. Dennis McCullough once you broke 102.32 on lap 9, I think it was. Oh, that's brilliant, yeah, it's great. It's the first time I've on this bike, it's brand new, so we sort of struggled a little bit in suspension in practice and managed to sort it out and feel the little bits and pieces, but we got there in the end anyway. So. Well done, Ian. Okay, thanks so much. Thanks to Ian Lougher there. Let's have a word with Ryan Farquhar. He'll be around here somewhere. Ryan, just down there. Oh, he's over here, he is. Let's have a quick word with him if he can. He's having a hike away. He's obviously heard him coming now. He's gone to see, not sure who. He's going to get his hat. Ryan, just following you round. Now, second place, but 200 quid for the two-stroke supporters club as well, courtesy of Nod and Joe. You'll be pleased about that, I'm sure.
Oh, aye, you know, Joe and the rest of the gang have done a brilliant job, you know, to keep 2 strokes going and Ireland, you know, and it's good to see him, you know, giving a hand over here. But, you know, second place there, I'm over the moon. I'd like to thank John McKeown and Ryan Trevor that worked the bike all day. You know, if you had told me I was going to get second before the race, I'd laughed at you, but we made a change before the race and the wee bike was brilliant. It's we touched slower than him, but instead of hanging the slipstream, then we'll come in the back markers, the knackered the job on me.
The race 2 winner was Ian Lougher, with Ryan Farquhar second, and Chris Palmer in the frame for the second time was third.
On the Kawasaki, so something not quite right there, but Andy's now got the gloves on and the thumbs up, and the sign is hoisted. Engage gear, watch the lights. Great start there by Ryan. Away went Ryan Farquhar with a really good start to the year. And the second wave going in. And that was number 6, Dave Madsen Mignall, a very experienced campaigner on their Yamaha machines. Move off as well with the course car behind them, but a good start there by Ryan Farquhar. An excellent time at the TT this year, but yet runner-up in the last race. Can Ryan do it this time around? No Guy Martin or Connor Cummins. They were amongst those who withdrew from the race. Paul Hunt also was due to go at number 4. He of course retired from road racing, and Paul Duckett was also due to go in this race as well. Ian Lougher, originally listed in the 600s, was electing to ride the superbike, so he is out there. Chris Palmer deciding that this is going to be a race too far, so he's not taking part. And Paul Dobbs has also pulled out, Paul having completed more laps during the TT than any other rider, I can tell you. Right, now let's go back to Roy Moore at Cross Fourways.
And this is going to be hectic, we've known.
And coming down in front of us now, it is Ryan Farquhar. And there goes Ryan, and here come the next two. The man number 12 in third place. Paul Dobbs, who down as a non-starter, is out there. Dobbs is circulating number 9. Fourth place. So Paul with a good qualification, but not matched by the performance. And then the first of the 600 is Roy Richardson, who leads from Michael Dunlop, and there's less than a second dividing Roy and Michael. So that's the situation with Roy Richardson leading Michael Dunlop. And the next of the 600 is Andrew Neil, with Mark Parrott dividing him from Michael Dunlop on the road. Back to Cross Fourways.
Just caught us out there, Charlie. We were just trying to write all that down as you came through, because again, when it comes into Cross Fourways here, it is a little bit difficult to identify the riders. Certainly, you've got the number, but when you look at the programme to find out who it is, but Ryan Farquhar had quite a distinct advantage on the first lap, and it looks as though he's increasing it on the second lap. In fact, he's what you would call miles ahead. But it's Ian Lougher who's second now from Mark Buckley, number 12, as they go through. There we have number 9 with us there, Paul Dobbs, Gary Carswell, and number 10, Paul Cranston. And right in amongst that mix was Roy Richardson. There's Stephen Oates going through on the Holiday Aviation machine. And certainly they've pulled out a tremendous lead, as has the race leader here, Ryan Farquhar. So on that standard production machine, well, 66 here, tips it into the corner and round, and number 18 as well. We can tell you number 18 is Stuart Bainborough. There's number 17 going through, and I think that was John Crillon. So over to you, Charlie.
Yeah, good timing again. I can see that Adrian Earnshaw, the Minister for Tourism, is here, checking his lap charts along with everybody else. Here comes Ryan. And Ryan goes through at the end of the lap. Right behind him is number 12, Mark Buckley. Now a 6.7-second gap between Ryan and Ian, and Ian has a lead of 1 second over Mark Buckley in third. In fourth place, number 8, Paul Dobbs, as number 6 goes through. That's Dave Madsen-Migdal, and that's John Crellin. So Farquhar, Lougher, Buckley, 1 second down on Lougher. In fourth place, number 9, Paul Dobbs. He's 4 seconds down on Mark Buckley. In fifth place, with only half a second. Mark Parrott has moved up. Are the top 7 in Superbikes, and then the 600s, it's Roy Richardson who leads the way with Michael Dunlop right behind him, and the difference between those two is half a second, just half a second between Roy and Michael. Back to you, Roy.
Absolutely scary as they hammer past that little commentary position there, Charlie, and certainly that was the case this afternoon, even only in practice. But Ryan Farquhar's here now. Tips the Harker machine in. Well, if it goes dark, you won't have any trouble identifying him, and he is the length of the Church Bend Straight. Be ahead of it, number 3, and Lougher with number 12, just having to pick it up a little bit there. Number 12, Mark Buckley, and there's a good old battle here, and the first of the 600s is Roy Richardson amongst that lot. And 52 is on the 600 class as well. He just runs a bit wide. And Stephen Oates gets underneath him there. 52, Andrew Neil ran a little bit wide across four ways and he went underneath him. But it just shows you 3 laps into this particular race, and it's a tremendous advantage there for Ryan Farquhar. But what's the difference at the start? Charlie. Yeah, we'll wait to see. 9 laps of the race, 38.25 miles. Here comes Ryan now. You're quite right, Roy. The commentary box shakes as he goes past. So Ryan goes through, and here comes Ian. He's quite a gap now on Buckley in 3rd place. So 8 points Ryan and Ian. Michael Dunlop goes through. Stephen Oates has moved up a place to 11th place, and the road goes quiet. So Farquhar leading with a speed of 107.95. That's his fastest lap of the race. That was on lap 2. 3 laps now completed. They're out on 4 as number 66, Dave Madsen Mingle, goes followed by number 8. So Farquhar, Lougher, Buckley, Warr, Paul Gold, 7 seconds behind Mark Buckley. And then it's very, very tight with only points behind Paul Dobbs and Gary Carswell, with Paul Cranston half a second behind them. So a real fight going on in 4th place. And as we see, could be elevated to the podium. So it was Farquhar. Yes, we're just looking down the road again now just to see how it is. Approaching us tight into the right-hand side as we look at it. Chips the old Harker machine over, and he's well ahead and increasing his lead, I would think, from the 2nd place one now, who in turn is increasing his lead. That's Ian Lougher now over number 12. And there he is with us now, Mark Buckley. So those 3 pulled out a tremendous advantage here, but there's a good battle here. That's number 9. And the score is 48 and 46. Michael Dunlop, the last of those to go through. Absolutely tremendous, and he's right behind Roy Richardson. So that's for the 600 class win. There's Stephen Oates, and 52 is through as well. So absolutely tremendous. Once Ryan Farquhar, how on earth he's pulled out that advantage. Absolutely tremendous. Andrew Neil was the last one through. Back to you, Charlie. Yeah, because we're coming up towards the end of lap 4 there, and here comes our race leader. It's still Ryan Farquhar looking good. Crosses the start-finish line now, and out on lap 5. Laps for the 2 previous races, but 9 laps for this. Here's in. And the gap is extending all the time. Our Buckley seconds now. It's 9.9 seconds. Lougher and in with a 3, 9, 8. And we wait. There they go. So cutting race. Number 47 goes through Stephen Oates, who had moved up one on the previous lap. Ryan leading Ian Lougher by nearly 10 seconds as they go out on lap 5, with Mark Buckley currently in 3rd place and looking reasonably secure there. Paul Dobbs in 4th, 8 seconds down on Mark, and then is Gary Carswell, Paul Cranston and Mark Harrod. In the 600 is Roy Stephen Oates 3rd, Andrew Neil in 5th place. Baker has got through. He, of course, is on the superbike with John Crelling in place. So it was Farquhar, Lougher, Buckley and Dobbs, the order when they left us. And back to Roy at cross 4 ways. Yes, and you just see number 62 getting going. That's Tony Oates stopped here, made a few adjustments. And Grand Grand Prix last year, he dropped it in front of it. He's safely through and building up that advantage, and it's a lonely ride for him now, because just onto the apex of the bend comes Ian Lougher, number 3, who in turn is pulling that out advantage over number 12, Mark Buckley. So in fact, the same as it was on all previous starts. Gary Carswell thinks about going up the inside. side of number 9, Paul Dobbs. But there's the 600s and Michael Dobbs still there. Tremendous race there, Roy Richardson and Michael Dunlop. And there's Stephen Oates now, number 47. Drops it in on the 600 machine, and 52 is the last of us to go through. Number 52. Over to you, Charlie. An absolutely idyllic evening in the south of the island. Lovely conditions for road racing. Here comes Ryan Farquhar now. From Northern Ireland to the Isle of Man this year, as indeed we all have. And he's through, and here comes Ian in second place. Through goes Lougher with 5 laps to go. There goes Mark Buckley, number 12. So again, Ryan extending that lead now up to 11 seconds. There goes Dobbs, Carswell, 10, 6. Looking up the road, here comes another 647. Stephen Oates, who's having a good ride, had a decent TT as well, Stephen. Goes through that Andrew Neil. So Ryan with an 11-second lead time, and Ian Lougher 5 seconds ahead of Mark Buckley in third place. Paul Dobbs is 8 seconds behind in fourth. In fifth place, Gary Carswell, just 1 second behind Paul Dobbs. In sixth place, number 10, Paul Cranston, 1 second behind Gary as well. So really exciting racing for fourth place. Mark Parrott at the seventh place. 48, Roy Richardson, 46, 47, Stephen Oates, and then Andrew Neil with 66, Dave Madsen-Migdal, 12th on the road, but 5th. Back to you, Roy. Yes, that's a good performance there by Dave Madsen-Migdal. Now on lap number 6 here at Cross Four Ways, and it's Ryan Farquhar, as he has been on all previous laps. On the machine, same immaculate line that goes through and tight to the hedge on the left-hand side. Crest allow, number 67, number 62 is stopping here. There's number 3, Ian Lougher. That looked like Oatesy that was pulling in. And right behind him, that's Marie Hudson, but been overtaken on this particular one. The female competitor there from a resident of the Isle of Man. 8 and 10, 6, 48, 46. Well, it was as quick as that. And the leader of the 600 class there, Roy Richardson. Over to you, Charlie. His fastest lap of the race on that last lap, lap 5, 105.998 miles an hour. The fastest lap set by this man, and that was Ryan Farquhar, his fastest lap on lap 2, and he's through, and this is, well, a clear demonstration of the lead he has, because here comes Ian right now. So a clear gap between the two of them. Buckley goes through, and it's now 12 seconds. And here comes the chasing pack. There's Carswell, 6, 10, 48, 46. Paul Dobbs has dropped back. 7 goes through, Stephen Oates. So it's Farquhar from Lougher. Mark 7 seconds behind Ian Lougher. In fourth place now is Gary Carswell. We said there's been a real scrap going on there, but it looks like Paul Dobbs. Gary Carswell now in fourth place. He's 9 seconds behind Mark Buckley, but only 1 second ahead of number 6, Mark Parrott. Paul Cranston in sixth place. Seventh then is Roy Richardson, and he's the first of the 600s, with Michael Dunlop right behind him, less than 2 seconds, dividing the two 600s, and over to Roy Ball. Back now, he's stopped again across Four Ways, 60 and 60. And certainly we just have to check out on that particular one as we wait for Ryan Farquhar now. 53 is right in front of him, certainly there, 53, Brian Hamilton. But certainly Ryan Farquhar through now on lap number 7 here at Difficult to stop saying Ramsey Hairpin, and Ian Lougher's here now at Cross Four Ways. He's through as well, but Ryan got a further advantage, I would think, as he pulls away from this particular one. There's number 12, Mark Buckley. So a clear third place for him as well, tight into that camera. Put on it. The fella stopped crying his eyes out now about it from getting destroyed. 86 together. Gary Carswell, and certainly that 600 battle there now is between Roy and Michael Dunlop. Over to you, Charlie.
Yes, thanks very much indeed, Roy. And you mentioned number 62. It's not looking quite the business, and Tony's thinking he is going to pull it in the paddock. Race leader Ryan Farquhar really taking about that as the back marker. Number 53, Brian Appleton goes through. We look for Ian Lougher. All the way down the start-finish straight as he came off the rise. That front end stayed goes through, and he gave us all a bit of unexpected entertainment there. And number 12, Buckley, is through as well. So it's 13 seconds now, so Ryan settling to his path. He doesn't need to break any more records. He just needs to keep it. 8 and 6 go through, and then there is Roy Richardson. Keeps going, of course. Number 46, Michael Dunlop. So Roy is 11. Race on that lap 7. 600 race. But to Ryan Farquhar it is, number 7, who leads by 13 seconds. Lock up. Ian is 10 seconds ahead of and Mark is 9 seconds ahead of number 8, Gary Carswell, and then a real scrap still going on between Gary and Mark Parrott. Less than a second in it between those two, and back to Roy.
Andy Cowan was the last of them, 34 and 63. Well, 63 was in fact Alan Jackson. The Jackson brothers there, 20 is here with us now. Well, got the Christopher Dean, but there's Ryan Farquhar. They're going to get a bit of a thrill in a minute, but it's on lap number 8 now, so just one more after this. Remember, this one being held over only 9 laps. Peter Simpson goes through there now. We always get mixed up with him and Stephen Oates. There's Ian Lougher, so a clear second place for him. Shane looks all right on that. That's the view that we get as they crank it through, and there's 53. Was that 53? Mark Buckley goes up the inside of number 60 there. Adam Jones, so certainly they're getting through them nice and clearly. Number 6, Mark Parrott, is here, and he's got ahead of Gary Carswell. Number 8, number 10 is there now, Paul Cranston. And Roy number 9 is with us now, Paul Dobbs. Back to you, Charlie.
Yeah, we wait for them to come past us here. And the final lap when they pass us. Ryan Farquhar through. And race time 13.36. And still no sign of Ian. Ian comes into view now. Here's Lougher. So what's the advantage now? Pretty much as you were. So all Ryan has to do now is to bring it home nice and safe, and I don't think many people will begrudge Ryan victory here. Mark Buckley through in 3rd place. Michael Dunlop, the second of the 600. And Stephen, number 47. So it's Ryan Farquhar on the Kawasaki, followed by Ian Lougher on the Team Black Horse Finance Yamaha. Mark Buckley in 3rd place. Mark Parrott has now moved up into 4th. Gary Carswell as we go back to cross 4-ways.
Yes, and the boat all that much sweeter if you've had a good TT. It'll be poorly if you haven't. So just imagine the difference between Ryan Farquhar and the likes of Guy Martin with all the disappointment that he's had during the week. And certainly we're looking down the road now. I think that would have gone through. Brian Hamilton, it certainly was, and 54 is ahead of Brian Farquhar. Cross 4-ways on the last lap. 63. That's Alan Jackson as he was previously. And certainly 20 will be getting a mention as well. 20, that's on the bigger class, Christopher Dean. But there's Ian Lougher. 2nd place for him. Gives us a quick look over. Well, he probably wouldn't have thought you could be able to see out of that visor they've got on because of the sunny conditions here. 61, Peter Simpson, and number 12, there's Mark Buckley. So a 3rd place. at the moment, and certainly, but a tremendous domination by number 7, Ryan Farquhar. Here's number 6 now, Mark Parrott, and it's Gary Carswell who's still ahead of number 10. Just Paul Cranston. Over to you, Charlie. So Ryan Farquhar, the man who has never entered the top 6 in the TT around the mountain course, comes wheeling down the left-handed. He does so. Applause from the stands and the spectators. A magnificent, commanding win, and a very, very popular win as well for Ryan Farquhar on the Kawasaki. And the man in second place, Ian Lougher, comes into view right now, and another big wheelie just off the crest. And he acknowledges the crowd, Ian Lougher, as he passes past us here in the best commentary position in the world. But Ryan Farquhar, the man who has taken the victory. There's third place for Mark Buckley, the man from Scotland, from Loch Lomond, will thoroughly appreciate that. A good ride by him. Through comes number 6, that's Mark Parrott, takes 4th. Gary Carswell takes 5th. And 48 for Ron Nicholson, taking the 600 prize. So well done to who also, of course, had a good one out on the 600 during the number 46, and a big hand there for Michael Dunlop, disappointed in the 250, but he's got second place in the 600s and 9th overall. Number 47 to complete the podium for the 600s, that's Stephen Oates. So Ryan Farquhar winning then from Ian Lougher, with Mark Buckley in third place, and Ryan is with Chris Kipping.
Well, just taking the gloves off now. Take your lid off. It's very, very hard work, and I'm sure what I'm going to tell him he's going to be pleased about. You get a grand for that as well.
Happy days.
Happy days.
No, they're brilliant. Brilliant TT and brilliant way to, to finish it off. And just like to thank Abe and Kenny, John, Darren, worked hard all right, giving me a hand. Only for them both be here, but and everybody else that has mucked in, Dunlop, MSS, but. It's brilliant. Towards the end, the sweat was running into my eyes and I was sort of losing concentration and on right a couple of times. But I knew after 2 laps, unless it broke down, should have it sewed up. But I enjoyed that really good.
You must have got a good start. You were well clear early on.
I was second. I was behind Ian, and I passed him coming out of Ballabeg, and I kept my head down for a couple of laps, just went as hard as I could. And I seen I was pulling away, and then I just rolled it off and pulled wheelies and had fun.
Good form was, good conditions, and maybe a good setting on that bike for when you come here back for the Southern 100, yeah?
Aye, possibly, aye. There's a bit of a problem with the back shock. It's just not, I wouldn't say
problem like you had, yeah?
Perfect, aye. Just after 4 laps, the TP went off, but I hadn't time to, get it looked at. But, hopefully come the Southern, we'll have it well sorted, and the engine freshened up. There's a lot of miles on it this week. Never missed a beat.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, well done to Ryan Farquhar there.
Race 3, which was a combined race for 1000cc and 600cc machines, was won this time round by Ryan Farquhar. Ian Lougher was again on the podium second, and Mark Buckley took third place. Altogether a splendid event to bring the TT Festival for 2008 to a logical conclusion. I hope that you enjoyed this little record, albeit 12 years after the event.